As some people know, E3 has been a largely press-centric event since its inception, many years back. But with events like Gamescom getting bigger and getting a lot more traction with public attendees, and with many game companies, especially people like Bethesda, moving away from the E3 conference hall themselves, having their own conference just as part of the season, E3 has decided that it's going to open its doors much more easily to the public. That being from February 13th, they are going to have 15,000 public tickets, or an allotment of 15,000 tickets for the public, priced at $250, or $150 if you buy them with the early bird discount, which is available from February 13th. The article I'm looking at the moment doesn't say when that early bird cutoff is cut off, so perhaps they're going, it's £150, and then they aim to sell out, because 150,000 or 15,000 tickets is quite small for an event of that size and that magnitude. For comparison, over the 3 days of London MCMs, they've gotten over 30,000 people over those 3 days, and they're having 15,000 tickets for an event which is extraordinarily bigger and a lot more business centered as well. So there's going to be a lot more business and developers and all sorts of things there. It's less commercial than an MCM event. The attendance for things like E3s and Gamescoms can be counted by the hundreds of thousands. And selling 15,000 public tickets for going like, oh look, we're opening to the public, seems token more than anything else. But having E3 open up to the public is good. It's much more public scrutiny, much more openness. Whether the public is going to be scrutinous with them, or if they're going to be more scrutinous than press people, I don't know. At times people are, at times people are not. But I'm not going to complain. This is a very good move by the ESA, the people who run and manage E3. Although there was one comment made by Alexander Slawinski. He's the COO of Videvo Games, the guy that made Volume, Tom Stallone, and he's also worked within the press industry for games. He makes a good point by saying that one of the good things about events like Gamescom is that they have a very significant press section which is only open to the press, and then the public section is separate. We have the two areas that are very strictly divided. What gets presented in the two sections isn't really that different. The best example would be that I tried to get into the Bethesda press junket day of, which is not a good idea. It's always booked in advance. But I tried to get into the thing day of, and they went, no, obviously, which is what I expected. And then they just ended up saying, the presentation is here, it's the same one they're going to do in the public one in a couple of hours. Because it was the first public day, and I was going, okay then, fine. It's just the only difference between the press section and the public section is that the press section is quieter. You can literally just walk up to the devs and ask them specific questions, which I did. Going up to one of the devs and ask them about the vampire game was quite good because of the multiple choice system and things like that. It was actually quite interesting. Even with them opening up to the public, and they can open up the public in full, but it would make the life of people trying to cover the events and journalists trying to, at times, ask quite awkward questions of developers. It's quite good to have that separation of the public and the press, and it makes it a lot easier to manage, and it makes covering things like Gamescom an absolute pleasure. Although there also seems to be one thing that that seems to be almost unique of me, is that I delve into both sections. Probably the reason why I like covering events like MCM quite a lot. One of the best examples as a counter to it is events like MCM, where there isn't a dedicated press section unless you're in the press junket, which is roundtables and things, and so trying to get interviews with developers and stuff like we have, like I've done before, at MCMs, has been at times a tad complicated because you have to try and work around the public and not getting in the way. I don't want to get in the way. So from the 13th of February, E3 is selling 15,000 public tickets, which is good. I just hope that it's managed correctly, because the last thing they need is a slight mismanagement of the whole thing. And they've got Jeff Knightley doing some of it as well. Although he seems more suited to be doing stuff at E3. Because he certainly can't do award ceremonies.